Good morning. Welcome to Melrose Unitarian Universalist Church. Our service today is called What's Your Story? Hello, everyone. Today is Mother's Day. For those of you who are celebrating, I wish you joy and love. For those of you who are not celebrating, I wish you peace. I'm the Reverend Dr. Suzanne Trilligator, and my pronouns are she, her, and hers. Here at Melrose UU, we strive to be a spiritual community for our time, to honor diverse theological perspectives and remember that issues of justice and equity shape all that we do. We welcome your whole self into our worship this morning as we build together a community of caring, courage, and hope. Helping me today is our worship technician, Josh Miller, and our chat box host, Adrian Wood. Adrian, if you will, please share in the chat box now the link to the welcome page on our website. New folks can go there to learn more about us and to sign in on our digital guest book. Please feel free, everyone, to stay for our virtual coffee hour after the service so you can get to know us better and everyone can check in with each other. Our church building, where I am now, sits on lands that are home to the Pennacook, Pawtucket, and Massachusetts people. We are working to address our history and to create an ongoing relationship of accountability. To learn more about current Native issues in our state, please follow the Massachusetts Indigenous Agenda. Adrian will put that post in the link now. That's where you can learn more. We have some important church gatherings coming up in the next couple of weeks, and here to tell you about them is Board President Dan Griscom. Dan, are you here?
Hello, everyone. On the evening of May 18th, which is a week from this Tuesday, Melrose Unitarian Universalist Church will be having our virtual annual meeting. We'll be reviewing and approving the budget for the upcoming year, as well as electing new committee chairs and board members. We'll also have a discussion of how we want to worship as the pandemic wanes. For more information, including voter eligibility, see the link that Adrian is posting in the chat box. And this afternoon from 2 to 4, we will be having another informal gathering at Pine Banks Park. We'll be at the same picnic area that we used last week. Contact me if you need more info. Thanks.
Thank you, Dan. And I just want to point out that next Sunday afternoon, May 16th at 2:30, please, if you can, plan to come to Pine Banks Park again, this time for our in-person bridging ceremony for this year's graduating seniors. Bring your homemade cards for Julia and Zayden, and I will take loads of photos and videos, which we'll then show in the Zoom bridging worship service right here the following Sunday, May 23rd. Alternatively, if you can't make it to the park, you can email me PDFs or photos of the cards and your good wishes to be included in that service and then sent on to Zayden and Julia. Look for more info on bridging in our midweek update. So our worship theme for the month of May is story. And today we are considering the stories we tell ourselves about our own lives. Of course, these stories are impacted by the parenting we received or didn't, and the parenting that we do or don't. So the themes of story and Mother's Day are interwoven in our service. We want to bless here all the mothers today and all the important spiritual work that they do. And at the same time, we want to hold and acknowledge the many different choices people make around parenting and the many different feelings we can hold about our mothers and our own mothering and how complicated all of that is. All of these choices and experiences are welcome here today. All are part of who you are and what you bring here, your whole and holy self. All are part of the story of you. Welcome to worship. Let's get going this morning. Let's see who's here with us, and we'll switch to gallery view now and scroll through the windows, and we'll wave and say hi and welcome to worship on a beautiful Sunday morning. Y'all are ahead of me. I'm not even in gallery view. Now I see everybody. Hi. Hi. It's good to see you all. Oh my, let's see. I can't even hit there we go. Next page, look at all these other people. Wonderful, nice smiles. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for being here. Yay, okay. Oh, Adrian didn't get the chat links. I'm sorry about that, Adrian. Oh, okay, so you got the annual meeting one, so for more information, there's a link there, and then there's the welcome one. So we're up to date now with the links. Thank you, Adrian, and I'm sorry about that. So I will call us to worship now. Get this party started. I call us to worship with these words from the Reverend Richard S. Gilbert. We meet on holy ground, brought into being as life encounters life, as personal histories merge into the communal story, as we take on the pride and pain of our companions, as separate selves become community. How desperate is our need for one another, our silent beckoning to our neighbors, our invitations to share life and death together, our welcome into the lives of those we meet and their welcome into our own. May our souls capture this treasured time. May our spirits celebrate our meeting in this time and in this space, for we meet on holy ground. Now, along with UUs around the world, I will light the symbol of our faith, the flaming chalice. As I do so, I invite you to light a candle at home or a chalice if you have one, perhaps the one that you received recently from our care team. This morning, our chalice lighting reading will be given by church member Lizzie Barber, who is a very busy mother to three. Lizzie, are you with us?
I am.
Okay.
We light this chalice for mothers and mothering, to celebrate those who have taken on the task of nurturing a young one, baby, child, or youth into adulthood, to celebrate those who have nourished the light of truth and compassion in growing minds and hearts, to celebrate those who have committed time, money, energy to the growth of others in this world. We light this chalice to celebrate and hold dear this flame of love.
Thanks, Lizzie. And now to lead us in this morning's opening hymn, our music director, Tara Tresner-Kirsch. Tara, go ahead.
Good morning. Our opening hymn is For the Beauty of the Earth. Please join me and the choir in singing.
For the beauty of the earth, for the splendor of the skies, for the love which from our birth over and around us lies. Source of all to thee we raise, this our hymn of grateful praise. For the joy of ear and eye, for the heart and mind's delight, for the mystic harmony, linking sense to sound and sight. Source of all to thee we raise, this our hymn of grateful praise. For the wonder of each hour, of the day and of the night, hill and vale and tree and flower, sun and moon and stars of light. Source of all to thee we raise, this our hymn of grateful praise. For the joy of human care, sister, brother, parent, child, for the kinship we all share, for all gentle thoughts and mild. Source of all to thee we raise, this our hymn of grateful praise.
Oh, choir, that was wonderful. Thank you so much. And I loved all of your decorations and your flowers you brought in. That was beautiful. And I realized I forgot to mention that our live transcription service is available to you. If you click on, I think it's in the bottom of your screen, a little box that says CC. If you click on it, you should be able to get live closed captioning. If that helps, please go ahead. And now let us join together in the words of our covenant, followed by the song of aspiration. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humankind in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. This is our great covenant, one with another and with our God. Time for a story. This one comes from our special Storytellers Workshop, which is an RE program run by Beth Yergrau and our DRE, Katie Campbell. Today, these two help our kids tell us a story called The Beautiful Tiger by Reverend Christopher Buse.
There was once a beautiful and powerful tiger. One day she was captured by a mean and cruel lady who put her into a cage. The lady kept the cage in the jungle not far from her house. Every day she would bring out a bowl of water and some food for the lonely tiger. Sometimes the tiger would see her own reflection in the bowl of water, and she would say,
"My, I must be a beautiful tiger."
When the lady heard her say this, she would lie and tell her,
"No, you are not a beautiful tiger. You are very ugly. You are a pitiful creature."
Sadly, the tiger would believe the lady. Some days after she ate her food, she would walk back and forth in her small cage and feel energy and power moving through her body. And she would say,
"My, I must be a powerful tiger."
When the lady heard her say this, she would lie and tell her,
"No, you are weak and puny. You are a pitiful creature."
Sadly, the tiger would believe the lady. Then one day, when the lady was nowhere around, two lions happened to walk by the cage. The lions saw the tiger inside and spoke to her.
"Beautiful and powerful tiger, what are you doing lying down in that cage?"
"Do not make fun of me. I know that I'm neither beautiful nor powerful,"
replied the tiger.
"I'm not making fun of you,"
said one lion.
"You are surely the most beautiful and powerful tiger I have ever seen. I am only surprised to see you lying here when you are clearly strong enough to break out of that cage."
"You really think I could break out of here?"
asked the tiger.
"Quite easily, I should think,"
replied the other lion. The tiger was not so sure at first. She had been told so many times that she was a weak and pitiful creature. But suddenly it seemed that she could feel energy and strength moving through her body. She began to pace back and forth in her cage, and then, almost without thought, she leapt against the cage door, and it flew open without any resistance. Once outside, she seemed dazed.
"That cage didn't even have a lock in it?"
she said.
"I spent so much time of my life stuck in here and the door wasn't even locked?"
The lion looked at her with soft brown eyes and said,
Those kinds of traps don't need locks, for it is the lies that we believe in that keep us in our cages, and it is the truth that sets us free.
It is the lies that we believe in that keep us caged, and the truth that sets us free. Let's contemplate that thought as we move into our time of meditation this week. Let's breathe in and out together. Let's feel our bodies sink into our chairs. Let's make space in our minds for quiet, for peace, for the movement of the Spirit. To begin our meditation this time, first we'll join together in our centering song, which for May is called This Is Home. After we sing, we sit together in a few minutes of shared silence. Then we speak to one another of our joys and sorrows, and then I will lead us in a meditation. Please settle into your chair, breathe, and join in as you like in our centering song.
Good morning. Our centering song this morning is, as Reverend Suzanne said, is This Is Home. I invite you to repeat after me. I believe I'm not seeing Randall. Randall, are you there? Oh, there she is.
I am here. Sorry.
Are you ready?
Sure.
Okay, so I invite you to sing with Randall this morning. Taking a deep breath in. This is home.
This is home
Where I belong.
where I belong.
In this breath.
In this breath,
In this heart.
in this heart.
This is home.
This is home
Where I belong.
where I belong.
In this voice.
In this voice,
In this song.
in this song.
And now we share with one another the joys and sorrows of our lives so that we may learn to listen more deeply to one another and to hold with care one another's stories. First, if you have a sorrow to share today, please type it into the chat box and I will read them aloud. From Cheryl, a sorrow. Chris's mom passed on Thursday morning. She will be missed immensely by those who loved her. From Wendy, sorrow. My dad passed peacefully yesterday. Are there any other sorrows this morning? I don't see any. Let us take together a moment to honor these sorrows.
Reverend Suzanne, here's one. For the mothers who have lost children.
Absolutely. Thank you, Adrian. Let us honor these sorrows together. Let us hold them in our minds and in our hearts with compassion. Let us reach out to those who are hurting today with help and support. I now light one candle as a beacon of care for all the sorrows spoken and unspoken today. Now I ask for all the joys that you'd like to share, type them into the chat box and I will read them. From Jane and Chuck, I met my work colleagues in person for the first time this week as we gathered outside in Somerville. From Florence, joy for my mom's 69th birthday. We are grateful to be celebrating with a tea party later today. From Rebecca, I was able to go to California and be with my mom and found a really nice skilled nursing facility for her. From Paul and Michelle, a candle of gratitude to all who supported the Rim flower sale. We had a record year. From the Webb family, from Beatrix, joy that we opened our pool, even though it is still way too cold to swim. Warmer weather is coming. From Doug, celebrating Anne's birthday. Anne was born on Mother's Day as well. From Cheryl, a joy. Anna and Lily turned 13. They become teenagers on Wednesday. Lily's dance team performed on Friday night for the first time this dance season and earned a judge's award and a platinum award for both dances. Are there any other joys? From Jane and Chuck, happy 24th wedding anniversary to us tomorrow. Seeing no other joys, I ask for us to hold them. By sharing these joys, you connect us and you rekindle our hope. Thank you. I now light one more candle to shine out our thanks for all the many blessings in our lives. Please join me in a meditation called The Complexity of Motherhood. On Mother's Day, let us mark how beautiful and complex it can be to be mothered and to mother. To those who have mothered, we thank you. To those who rejoice in the work, the role, the presence of mothering and mothers, we celebrate today with you. To those who are in the thick of parenting children of any age, we appreciate you. To those who experience loss through infertility, abortion, miscarriage, adoption, or running away, we mourn with you. To those who have lost their mothers, we grieve with you. To those who have endured abuse at the hands of their mothers, we acknowledge you. To those who experience pain at the marking of this day, we witness you. To those who are single moms, grandmoms, stepmoms, foster moms, adoptive moms, mentor moms, and spiritual moms, we need you all. And to those who are pregnant with new life, both expected and surprising, we anticipate with you. May we together reflect with gratitude on the wide spectrum of mothering that happens in our lives and in our communities. And may this congregation hold gently and with grace all our caregivers today, those steadfast and brave who serve so well. Amen. Now it is the time for our offertory. I remind you that we are an independent, self-supporting community organization. We receive no outside funding. That's why your pledges are so important. You may also contribute to our collection plate, which we split with a deserving cause. For May, our giving partner chosen by our high school youth group is Housing Families, which helps homeless folks in nearby Malden. This month, half of our collection plate will go to Housing Families. I invite you to donate using the orange button in the top right corner of our homepage at melroseuu.org. And now for our offertory selection. This 5-minute video was shared with me by the Reverend Karen Johnston, our minister in East Brunswick, New Jersey. It was made by Delphine, who is a singer-songwriter and a member of that congregation. To me, this video speaks powerfully about the work that so many of you are doing right now. All the people who are parenting in this generation, and all the grandparents and the RE teachers and the members of this congregation who give their love and support to RE and to our youth groups and to our parents. All of us together are raising this generation. All of us are mothers of change.
Couldn't stop rape culture, couldn't take back the night, but Gen X women survive through fight or flight. Glass ceilings above us, yeah, we knew Bush lied, but we didn't stop the war, honey. No, we barely even tried, but we raised the millennials. We let them play outside the closet, and we kept them safe. We stayed up late, learning new pronouns, new names. We raised the millennials. Yeah, we are the mothers of change. mothers of the movement, mothers in the fight, wouldn't let their black sons disappear in the night. We'll say their names till it's made right, till the guns stop blasting, deadly power so wide. We raise the millennials, we let them play outside with nothing but our words to keep them safe. When the tanks came, we stood in their way. We raised the millennials, yeah, we are the mothers of change. I heard Mother Steinem on the radio say she'd been waiting for her friends to be born. She'd been waiting for the millennials, and I cried 'cause she was right, and I cried 'cause she was wrong. We didn't run from the battlefield, Gloria. We were sowing the seeds of war. We may not have won yet, honey, but we raised the ones we've been waiting for. We're the mothers of Parkland, of Me Too's silent plight. Though we came up in darkness, we raised up light, raised up water protectors, labored BLM and trans rights. We raised Emma, Greta, and AOC, mothers hidden from sight. We raised the millennials. We're raising Generation Z. Hey. Maybe we haven't changed much, honey, but honey, we can make this claim. We raised the millennials. Yeah, we are the mothers of change.
The poet and playwright Derek Walcott grew up on St. Lucia, the descendant of enslaved people. He won the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1992. This is his poem called Love After Love. The time will come when, with elation, you will greet yourself arriving at your own door, in your own mirror, and each will smile at the other's welcome and say, sit here, eat. You will love again the stranger who was yourself. Give wine, give bread, give back your heart to itself, to the stranger who has loved you all your life, whom you ignored for another who knows you by heart. Take down the love letters from the bookshelf, the photographs, the desperate notes. Peel your own image from the mirror. Sit. Feast on your life. You may recall this news story. In December of 2012, the Kenyan runner Abel Mutai was nearing the end of a 3,000-meter race in Berlada, Spain. Just a few minutes before the finish, this world-class runner, Mutai, slowed down dramatically and began to veer off the track. Right behind him, the Spanish runner, Ivan Fernandez Ananya, saw what was happening and caught up. Pointing and gesturing around their language barrier, the Spaniard showed the Kenyan that he'd misunderstood the signage. The race wasn't over yet. They needed to keep going. Carefully, Fernandez stayed behind so that Mutai could maintain his lead and win the race. If you saw this at the time, you'll remember that the media went mad with this story, as did Fernandez's coach. Why would he do this? When given the chance to surge ahead and win, why would he stay back and help Mutai to win? Fernandez explained, he was the rightful winner. He created a gap that I couldn't have closed, even if he hadn't, that I couldn't have closed if he hadn't made that mistake. He deserved to win. Reporters, incredulous, pressed Fernandez further. But why? And he said, my dream is that someday we can have a kind of community life, the runner explained. Okay, the reporter said, but why not? In the meantime, can't we just win? But what would be the merit of my victory? Fernandez asked the reporter. What would be the honor of that medal? What would my mom think of that? I would like to meet Fernandez's mom, wouldn't you? I wonder what she's like. So today is Mother's Day, and as I've said several times, I know it's complicated for many of us for many, many reasons. I want to acknowledge that, and I want to hold it with care. And at the same time, I don't want to lose the chance to honor and celebrate all those people out there, women and men and non-binary people who are working so hard to raise the next generation. All of you who mother, who love unconditionally, deserve our gratitude, and you deserve a day to put your feet up and relax. The struggle is real and your accomplishments are real. Thank you. This month of May, of course, we are also looking at the theme of story. And yes, parenting plays a large role in how we tell our life stories. The parenting we received and the parenting we give, in all its forms, shapes our stories and shapes us. Did you know that there's a whole branch of psychology now that's devoted to the study of life stories? Yeah, starting in the 1970s and 80s, researchers started to look at how people create and tell their own life stories. And these researchers then developed all sorts of theories about personality and development based on their life story research. This is called narrative psychology. And one of its principal proponents and founders is a guy named Dan McAdams, who's a professor at Northwestern. According to McAdams, human personality is best described as having 3 layers that are built up across the lifespan. The base layer are our dispositional traits, our general tendencies toward the big 5 of personality: openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. That's the base layer. The middle layer is our characteristic adaptations to life, our desires, beliefs, concerns, and coping mechanisms. And then the top layer is made up of our life stories as we craft them. As a kind of a shorthand, McAdams refers to these layers as developmental stages: actor, agent, and author. As children, we are primarily just actors, acting and reacting to life according to these base traits. Then as adolescents, We become aware of our own agency, and we began developing the adaptive layer made up of our choices and desires. So that's actor and agent. Then as we reach maturity, adulthood, we become authors, writing and rewriting the stories of our lives, making meaning as we go along. And so how do we write these stories? Well, according to McAdams and other studiers of students of narrative psychology, researchers in this field, they say that in our 20s and 30s, our stories tend to be complex and action-packed with lots of twists and turns and new characters entering and exiting. But according to their research, our stories tend to calm down as we approach middle age. Plot twists get resolved, storylines get simpler, and often the stories follow a similar pattern. They have the same narrative arc. According to McAdams, this narrative identity is culturally grounded, and Americans overwhelmingly prefer one specific kind of narrative arc, the redemption story. Generally, when we tell our life stories, most of us will focus on some kind of initial hardship and then on our overcoming of it, turning the proverbial lemons into lemonade. Quote, evolving from the Puritans to Ralph Waldo Emerson to Oprah Winfrey, Americans have sought to author their lives as redemptive tales of atonement, emancipation, recovery, self-fulfillment, and upward social mobility, McAdams writes. These stories speak of heroic individual protagonists, the chosen people, whose manifest destiny is to make a positive difference in a dangerous world, even when the world does not wish to be redeemed. Unquote. Does that sound familiar? Does that sound like you? Does that sound you, or both? To me, it sounds a bit you, and it sounds a lot like me. I mean, after all, Emerson was a Unitarian minister. You know, McAdams just mentioned him. And UUs have been at the center of this American culture since the beginning. So it makes sense that our religious optimism would align with this cultural trend and that our churches would attract optimistic people to join in. And often that optimism is a good and healthy thing. In his decades of research, McAdams showed that this ability to find a positive meaning in negative events is linked to a more complex sense of self and a greater life satisfaction. Not surprisingly, folks who can turn lemons into lemonade tend to be happier overall. At the same time, McAdams warns, let's not get carried away because this optimism can have a dark side too. It can promote a fatal flaw or two, especially in the US, where rags to riches stories tend to give all glory to the individual, generally a headstrong lone wolf type who beats the odds so he can beat the competition. Which is why we're so surprised by the story of Ivan Fernandez Anaya. That lone wolf hero narrative promotes individualism, while at the same time it disparages, dissipates, and dissolves the bonds of community, family, and congregation. And the bootstrap story we all know, it also blinds us to privilege. It keeps us from acknowledging that many winners got massive head starts, usually based on gender and race and class and income. And of course, we must admit that there are some things in life that just cannot be redeemed. There are life events and traumas that people can't overcome. And expecting folks to do that can cause them further harm. But all that said, there's a lot of interesting stuff in this idea. And here's the most interesting bit, I think. After decades of research into life stories, McAdams found that the people most likely to tell redemption stories, to take all the bad things that have happened in their lives and to turn them into good, positive lessons learned, to tell tales of triumph over adversity, these were all folks who proved, quote, highly generative. Now, what does that mean, highly generative? This is McAdams' term. He says, does it mean successful or creative? No, highly generative people, which is what McAdams chose to study, are those who are most committed to promoting the well-being of future generations. Seems like a good thing to look at on Mother's Day. It's exactly the people who most often turn their life stories from tragedy to hope who are most committed to turning social tragedy into hope. You know, it's almost like there's some deep connection between healing yourself, healing your life story, and healing the planet. Is the story of your life a story of redemption? I want to invite you sometime in this month while we're looking at story to spend some time with your life story. Find some quiet time and listen to the story unfolding. Just sit with it in your mind. Have you endured hardship? Have you turned your life into life lessons? Have you overcome? Or have you suffered some things that can't be redeemed? I invite you to find some quiet and let your heart fill with compassion as you think about your journey. Compassion for yourself, for all you have survived. Just hold it in compassion and sit with it and see what arises. See what happens with your story. Maybe write about it in your journal or email me. We could chat about it. I would be happy to do that. The great poet Derek Walcott wrote, "The time will come when with elation you will greet yourself arriving at your own door in your own mirror, and each will smile at the other's welcome and say, 'Sit here, eat.' You will love again the stranger who was yourself." It's almost like there's some deep connection between healing yourself, healing your life story, and healing the planet. It reminds me of that tale that our wise youngsters told to us this morning about a tiger who was trapped. Because it's the lies that we believe in that keep us caged, and the truth that sets us free. And I think that connects really well with the video that we watched called Mothers of Change. Because, you know, it's almost like there's some deep connection between healing ourselves, healing our life story, and learning how to heal the planet. Like the freer we can get from the lies about our own worth and our beauty, the lies of racism and sexism and militarism and consumerism, the freer we can get from those lies, the freer our children can get, the freer our world can get. My dream is that someday we have a kind of community life, the runner explained. What would my mom think of that? The great Buddhist teacher Thich Nhat Hanh wrote, "The most precious inheritance that parents can give their children is their own happiness. Our parents may be able to leave us money and houses and land, but they may not be happy people. If we have happy parents, we have received the richest inheritance of all." It's almost like there's some deep connection between healing ourselves, healing our life stories, and healing the planet. Let us pray together. Grant us, O friend, the time and the space to listen once again to our own life stories. Help us to hear them, to hold them with compassion. Let us let them unfold as they will. What suffering have we survived? What hardship have we overcome? What lessons do we bring forth? What lies have we broken through? What cages have we burst forth from? What new freedoms do we taste and share and teach? My friends, this Mother's Day, we are the healers, the agents, the authors, the story retellers, the ones who redeem our own stories and in so doing, redeem our own selves. We get free and we get others free, and we create new worlds for generations to come. We are all the mothers of change. So may it be, and amen. Now, to close our worship, we have a wonderful healing song, a song for our life stories. It's How Could Anyone, sung by our choir.
How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul.
Your loving is a miracle. It is the lies that we believe in that keep us caged, and the truth that sets us free. Amen, and so may it be.